guys. Hello, welcome to Money Matters. My name is Madhura and I'm your host for the show. Money Matters is a show that we do on Facebook and YouTube as well on a weekly basis where we discuss different topics about money. So it's not just about your own personal finance but also our business finances as well. And what we aim to do through these sessions is basically to empower you and inspire you to start addressing the different issues that you do have with your finances, find solutions to the problems that you have, and come out better and create the reality that you want in terms of your finances as well. So what we aim to do in these sessions is we will have some of the technical sessions where we talk about how you can do your budgets and all of that, but most of it is going to be a bit more exciting where we have many amazing guest speakers who come and share their experiences on how they have addressed their finances in different areas. And I think we have had, this is our episode 16 where we're going to be talking about accounting, but previously we have done 15 other episodes in many different areas. We have had guest speakers who spoke about taxation, we had guest speakers who spoke about saving, we had guest speakers who spoke about how you can transition from being an employee to a full-time to become an entrepreneur. All of us have different concerns, and by having different guest speakers who have different experiences, we hope that you get a lot of different perspectives, and you can apply some of the things that you learn from these sessions in your personal life as well. So if you are keen in any of the episodes that I mentioned, just go to ET Boost YouTube channel or Simply Empowering Facebook page, and you will be able to find all of these episodes, or you can DM me on my social media, which is the real Madhura, either my Instagram or Facebook, and I can give you a playlist link for all of our previous episodes as well. So thank you so much for joining, guys. If you're watching, just share this link, share this live stream to as many people as possible. You can just share it in your social media or your friends who you feel need to learn more about accounting and whatnot. So let's get started for today. I'm very excited for our guest speaker because she's probably the only guest speaker that I've brought on for the second time on the show again. So we have our guest speaker, Miss Joyce Lim, who is also the CEO and founder of Simply Empowering, who basically the show is also being done under Simply Empowering, so she's the boss lah. And other than that, I think Joyce has a lot of experiences. She has about 20 plus years of experience in terms of the finance industry in a way. So not only being an in-house accountant and then an outsource accountant, she has done a lot of different things, and she has a lot of experiences as well. So I think it'd be very nice to see how what is her perspective in terms of accounting, why is it so important, and what are the different ways we can approach this whole scary looking thing called accounting. So yeah, that is who we're going to have today. And I think the topic also is has also been mentioned, which is what you call it, accounting, right? Why do we need accounting? Do I have to do it on my own, or can I get somebody else to do it? How does it work? A lot of people have a lot of questions, and we only ask these questions around this period of time because it's the tax filing period and everyone is freaking out, like, oh my god, I need to pay my tax, what do I do? I didn't do my accounts, and this is when a lot of people call us up and say, can you do my accounts? So we thought it would be a very nice topic to address at this point in time. So without further ado, let me invite Joyce into the stream. Hi, Joyce.
Hello, thank you for inviting me to the show.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm saying thank you for coming on board. uh, I think today is going to be fun. It's a topic that both of us do talk about a lot. Sometimes we're
Yep.
so confused why people don't understand. But I think this is a good opportunity for us to kind of like share to people what is
Mhm.
accounting, what they can expect from an accountant, so that we kind of bridge the gap between accountants and normal
The
business owners.
business owner. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you guys are watching, like I mentioned, guys, please do share the link out so that more people can watch. And Joyce, I'm just gonna jump straight into my question as to like,
Mhm.
what is accounting? What in the world does accounting mean? And what is actually covered under accounting in a way?
Okay. In general terms, I would say accounting basically it just helps you to document down what happened in your business. Meaning that how much sales that occurred during the period, what are the expenses that happen in your business, and at the end of the day, actually how much you earn from your business. So that is what accounting is in general terms. That is relevant to the business owner. Okay. So what was the second question? But that's accounting.
What
Second
are,
one is
what are the things that comes under it, and what can we expect when somebody is doing accounts? Means what does it actually mean?
okay. So the most basic, of course, is to actually get the records, as in that, like I said just now, how much sales, how much expenses, and what is your profit.
Yep.
But beyond that, there are other areas that we look at. For example, on the cash flow part, because a lot of business owners will come back to us and say, "Hey, look, my sales is this much. How come my bank account doesn't reflect it?"
Mm.
And that's where we have to go in and analyze and see, actually what happened. Why is it in that scenario? Okay, and give them a insight into what are the things they need to do to close the gap between their sales figure and the bank account figure. Okay, right? Because they do ask, it's like, how come my bank account is this figure? And they
Yep.
sometimes they actually forgot they actually spend a lot on the business, right? So there's two things: is either you haven't collected or you have spent a lot on the business. So that's why your bank account doesn't really reflect the revenue that you actually shows in your accounts.
Yep.
Okay. And did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think it's a very good start. It's like
Mm.
what I've always felt like accountants were like the history book writers in a way, because like
Yeah.
if you want to know what happened in the past, you just need to talk to an accountant in that company, and you will probably be able to get the story behind what happened. And
Yes.
numbers don't really lie so much unless somebody's
Yes.
intentional.
You're very right in saying that number don't lie. So if you try to wiggle yourself out of a certain scenario and say, no, this did not happen, no, it actually happened because the numbers show that it actually happened. Okay,
Yep.
that's one thing good about the accounting part. And actually that's why some people don't see the value in accounting, because they say it's history. Why should
Yeah.
I look back? It doesn't make sense to look back, right? But
Yes.
we always learn from history. That's one
Yes.
part of it, and that's one part of our job as an accountant, to actually um, document down, make sure all the necessary documents are there.
Yeah.
And we have come across, business owners giving us receipts that it doesn't really make sense, in the sense that it's just a piece of paper with the amount, and they just indicate that this is like food and things like that, because the place that they frequent does not issue receipts. So they
Yep.
thought that is sufficient, and I have to go and tell them that no, it's not really sufficient, because it doesn't look like it's from a business establishment. Okay.
Yep.
So I guess if you want to look into the value of an accountant, you need to look at what other areas they actually cover, in
Yep.
terms of the cash flow planning, in terms of planning even for your taxes to a certain extent. These are the few areas that can actually add value to your business when we talk about getting in an accountant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a good way we can get started on this is, if
Mhm.
you guys are watching, please feel free to comment as well, which is what are the problems you guys face in your business, and let's see whether that problem can be solved by having an accountant handle some part of it as well. So before our audience jump in and start giving us their
Uh-huh.
problems, I could have accidentally opened a Pandora box, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Uh, what are the problems that we can solve by doing the accounting part properly in a business? Because I've always felt like, uh, even for me lah, when I although I'm an accountant, when I actually run a business, accounting is the last thing in my mind. It's everything else seems far more important. It's like, if I
Yes.
can't bring in the business, what's the point of having an accountant? If I can't manage my team, what's the point of having an accountant? So it's like accounting comes last compared to everything else. So what problems do accounting actually solves for businesses, so that people take it a bit more understand why is it actually important, and they can implement it better in their businesses? What are the problems you can solve using this?
Okay, I think one major thing that, since it's very relevant during tax time, right, is that you need to do up an accounts.
Yep.
But if you don't have someone, how do I say, regularly ask you for the documents may go missing, because it is not in your priority. It's not in your
Yes.
priority list to actually keep the documents. But if, let's say, especially, it's like it's as simple as a bank statement. Nowadays you get online bank statement, but if you forget to download within that period of time, sometimes even after 12 months, then you have to go back to the bank to get the bank statement. But
Yep.
if there's someone, asking you every quarter, hey, can you download the bank statement? At least there's something that you don't need to do at year end when you are doing your accounts. Okay, so that's one part. Second part, I guess it helps with some of my clients in the sense that some of them, they are so busy with their business, they forgot about collection, meaning that they keep invoicing, they keep doing the work, and even some of them, they actually forgot to invoice.
Yep.
They just do like, oh, the client asked me to do this, I just do, or I just renew for them, but they forget to actually bill their client to get the reimbursement, or even to service, to bill them for their service and things like that.
Yep.
So
Yep.
having someone regularly checking on it, in this case, we actually do for this client, we actually do on a weekly basis. All right, so that, because the business is not small, so if you wait for 1 month, there'll be a lot to do. So we got to working on it an hour a week to actually sort out any issues that we have in the company, make sure that all the documentation are there, that all the payments and all the tax filings that we need to do, on a regular basis is actually done. And so they have an idea. I mean, in a way, when you do that, it's like the owner will actually have this sense of like, okay, at least my things are on track.
Yep.
It may be that there's still outstanding, but at least I know.
Yep.
And of course, then you can make better decisions. As in, do you still want to continue giving service to this person? Do you want to put in the collection plan, whereby you put in all the requests for payment, and after a certain time you stop giving service, kind of thing?
Yep.
Because if not, you will continue going on, and you are not aware, actually all your money are stuck there because it's a service rendered, and you
Yep.
pay your staff for the services provided, and if you don't collect from them, basically you're funding your customers lah. Okay.
Free
If you
service.
are if you like to do that, then I have no choice, right? Because it's still a choice, because we can sit down and tell you this is outstanding, this person is owing you this much for the last 3 months. You can take a stand to stop providing the service. But
Yep.
if the person doesn't take this advice, I would say, or this the next action plan to implement it, there's
Yep.
nothing much we can do.
Yep.
Okay, so we can only prompt, we can only indicate, we can only suggest this kind of the next action plan, but we cannot hold the person, in a way, hold the person ransom and say, if you don't do this, we are going to exit. It doesn't make sense like that sense. Okay, because business is still their business, so we
Yeah.
do what we can to actually prompt them. Yep.
So in summary, one big area that it does, one big problem it does solve is the whole collection with your clients. So if you're
Yeah.
somebody who struggles to ask your client for payment, like the moment you start the job, you're just so shy to ask for payment. A good way to solve this problem is to have a person in charge in the company who is all about chasing for payments and all of that.
Yeah.
I think it actually, even for the clients, it's very very comfortable when it's two separate people. So I think that is definitely one of the problems that we can solve by doing having an accountant in the business as
Yeah.
well. And also you mentioned about like documentation, having somebody to actually keep an eye on whether it is being kept properly. Because if not, we
Yeah.
will look at it once a year and then we'll freak out and we won't have anything in
Yes.
done properly in a way. Other than these two problems, any other issues that we can overcome by doing our accounts properly?
I think it also allows someone to actually regularly look at their business in terms of, am I on track? Am I reaching my target? Am I overspending on certain things? Because as a business owner, sometimes you you tend to look at it like, oh, I need this thing, so I'll spend because it is required.
Yep.
But on the overall basis, because the money is easily at your disposal, I would say, because you're the business owner and you say, I can make that decision immediately. So
Yep.
you don't take the time to look into, are there alternative?
Mm.
Okay, if somebody come and say, you can't spend this much, or you cannot afford to spend it, because if you spend this one, next month you cannot pay your staff salary, are you still going to spend?
Yep.
You see, but without that, you'll be like, oh, doesn't matter, I'll just spend first, and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's
So
kind of
there
funny.
will be,
Today only I had a scenario where
yeah,
one of the people I work with texted me and said like, okay, so I need to buy this thing, but what I estimated it will cost is like 50% more. I mean, like it was just 50% of what it costs now. So
uh-huh.
what do you think I should do? Blah blah blah. So I'm like, so at this point in time, most of the people what they would do is, oh, it cost double the what I expected it. Okay, forget it, never mind. I just have to buy and move on. But like you said, if you have somebody who's keeping an eye on expenses, if it's like a small amount for your company, it's fine. But when it goes to bigger numbers, that's where the huge difference it will be made. And if you have a lot of smaller transactions and you just don't care about any of them, it will also make a huge difference when it comes to the end
Yeah,
of the day.
we actually adds up because we have encountered our clients, I believe, even your personal finance part, they feel that, oh,
Yep.
there's not a lot. So they just spend and spend and spend. At the end of the month, they look at their, especially the food bill, then they'll see
Yep.
like, did I really spend this much on food? So it's the same for the business, It's like it's okay lah. I just spend a little bit here. It's
Yep.
okay. I get another, let's say another phone line and things like that because it is required and things like that. But when things started to not say go wrong, as in that pandemic happened and business actually dropped, and you are actually caught in the situation where to cancel the phone line is there's a penalty and you
Yep.
cannot afford to pay the penalty and you are caught having to pay all these things when you are not actually using it. Okay,
Yep.
so sometimes it does help to get someone to actually look at it. Okay, is it really necessary? At that point, in that particular client's case, it is really necessary. But when the pandemic happened and they have to scale down and the lines are no longer in use, it's like, what do we do next? So that's where we also can sit down and just have a discussion. Okay, since you can't cut down on these expenses, where else can you cut? What else can you mobilize in your business so that you have less expenses and things like that? So and that's actually what happened with this client of ours lah. That's what they did lah. They can't
Yep.
cut on this, so we have to go and look for other solutions instead.
Yep.
Mm.
So even one of the things I have felt like when companies are bigger, like they are medium sized companies and all that, they already understand. Oh God, I need to have an accountant to handle this because there's a lot of things to take care of. But
Yep.
small companies, right, the ones who are just starting up, startups in a way,
Mm.
do they need an accountant for this, or can they just handle it on their own?
I just feel like maybe in the beginning, what they can do is they can actually engage services to find out actually what is involved in accounting. Meaning that what are the process, what are the things that they need to keep, what are the information they need and things like that. Maybe in the beginning, because sometimes it's so minimal, as in like there's only a few transactions and things like that, you think
Yep.
that you can, which is possible, but there are certain documentation that you need and in certain formats, especially like the invoice. I know there we have encountered invoices without a date. We have encountered invoices without a reference number and things like that, which is not in
Yep.
compliance with what is required. Okay, so it'll be good, in the beginning you just have a chat with us. Even we can tell you, okay, you will set up a business, this is required, these are the standard things that you need to actually start up a business. And if you are going for you'll be employing people, this is the EPF social things requirements that is done. And of course the yearly requirement of giving an EA form, and also filing your form E, which a lot of people do not know and not aware, and they do not do the filing when the time comes lah. So that's why it's like getting a glimpse of what is to come, getting the documentation prepared, and then when you are more stabilized, or even if you feel that, oh, I got everything, I would suggest also in between just have a run through with the person also. Is this what you actually meant? Because a lot of times our understanding of what is required is may not be up to what is required. Okay, so it's more on that. You just do a regular check on, am I keeping all my documents properly and things like that. And at the year end, if you want to do it yourself, also can. Actually, it is possible. But what I know is that certain tax agent requires you to have like the full set of accounts. That means you have the balance sheet, P&L, and the general ledger properly done up before they actually do a tax com for you. Okay,
Yeah.
so in that sense, if you want to learn how to do the accounting yourself, also is still possible. We do have, I think, we do have the classes for it. Okay, you can learn how to do it yourself. But I think the question is, would you want to do it? Okay, because it does take time. And at the beginning, maybe you find that you do have time to do this, but eventually, like for me, even now, I do need to allocate some time to do the accounts myself, as in my own company accounts. Because if not, it will is at the back of my mind. It will be like the last thing on my mind to do, because I have so many other things to handle, like you said, as
Yeah.
a business owner. So I would suggest that, if you want to learn more about it, can, and then you can try it. And then if you find that, yeah, you can handle, there's some people who can. I have not, of course, the people we encounter will be people who cannot handle it. If not, they will pass to us anyway, right?
Yep.
So I would say you can try it. There's no harm in trying. Once you find that you feel that your time is better spent elsewhere, then you can pass to an accountant that can handle the job for you, lah.
Yep. So
Okay.
I think in summary, it's like, one is, having an accountant also means that you can plan out your expenses and all a bit more
Yes.
better, because as the person who's in the business and running around everywhere, a lot of times we lose focus on, are we actually going for the best option available, or are we just going
Yeah.
for the option that is readily available.
Yes.
So a lot of times we choose the readily available rather than the best option, because we don't have time to be thinking about these things.
Yep.
I think it applies to all aspects of business, not just in terms of
Mm.
financial.
Yep.
Sometimes in terms of our vision, having a mentor helps us to kind of manage that we are looking at the best option and not the readily available option. For
Yeah. Agree.
finances,
Agree.
it's an accountant, I feel. So
Yes. Yeah.
it is good to have one. And also we spoke about, yeah, a person who's just starting out their businesses, do they still need it? It is good to have somebody to set up the systems. Like, I remember, I think 3 weeks ago, when we featured one of our guest speakers, and he was sharing about what was his painful lesson in terms of money, and he shared about how he never set up systems when his company was smaller. So a lot
Yes.
of us will freak when our company has grown. Then we start thinking about processes, but it's so late, because now everyone is it's so hard to change the team to start following
Agree.
processes.
We are so used to doing things a certain way. To
Yes.
change that habit pattern may actually sometimes takes forever, and you may encounter resistance to it unless you make it a point to have like a team that is very used to changes. Then it will be very much easy to implement new things, especially now when we have a lot of new things coming out in terms of IT. How do we do our work is totally different, and even work from home kind of process flow is totally different as well.
Yep.
And so we need to actually learn how to embrace the changes that comes, and do our work better in a
Okay.
sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So if you guys are a business owner, come and talk to not just us. I think any
Yeah.
business accountant, in a way.
Yeah.
See how you can start putting up the processes now itself, so you don't have to suffer 5 years from now when your business is growing. You don't need to come and stop everything and set up systems and all of that. Which you also saying, like, adapting. So I think my next question would be like, with things changing so fast now and all of that. Uh, I feel like moving things online is something very important to do.
Yep.
What would you recommend for business owners to do in terms of accounting? How should they move online? Is it safe? Is it not safe? How can it be done? These are the
I
questions
mean,
we get.
yeah, a lot of people don't like to move online because it says one is not safe. Okay,
Yeah.
there's a lot of hackers out there. There are a lot of things happening out there. But I feel like whether you like it or not, it is here. Okay, the online world is here. The only way we can do is actually to minimize the risk. For example, the password, the access, all those things. We just need to be alert about it. That's one thing. Okay,
Yep.
and in terms of our business, I feel like since a lot of things are moving online, a lot of our documents are online, meaning that it's soft copies and things like that. So it'd be good to have actually a soft copy version of it in our case, we put it in Google Drive. Okay, so that we have a backup copy in that sense. But of course, you also must have the external copy. So the change that we need to actually see, or to get the owners to actually implement, will be like, can you get a soft copy of it? Okay, bills is quite easy. But having said that, there are certain scenarios whereby it's very difficult for us to get the invoice, especially when you buy things online. Because when you buy things online, they only give you something called the order confirmation.
Yeah.
And the order confirmation, in terms of most of accountants, it is not an invoice. Then you get stuck trying to get the invoice from the supplier, and the supplier is saying that we don't issue. Especially there's certain platform, they just buy and say, oh, the supplier actually don't issue. It's actually from the platform itself, and that's it. And this is what we give you, order for money. That's it. There's nothing else. So do we still accept? I think in this, the best scenario is we can still accept, as so long as there is an indication of who the supplier is, as in where you buy it from, and that what is the amount.
Yep.
Okay, and of course the description of it has to be clear enough to tell you what the what you are buying. It cannot be ordered hashtag 1 2 4 5 6 7 8 and that's it. Who knows what you buy?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so in that case the description is very important. So to actually help yourself, sometimes they say you can just take a photo and make sure you keep a photo of what you bought together with the order form. Everything is complete. It is physically, it is there. You bought something.
Yep.
So I think in the back of your mind should be like, if I don't get this, what can I do, or what should I have to support that I actually bought this thing for the business. Okay, so just WhatsApp also can, whatever it is lah. I feel so long as it shows that this thing actually happened, and they're supporting. It supports that. Let's say why you pay this person, why you pay this person instead of the other person, because there's an instruction to pay from this person. So these type of things do happen. We try as much as possible not to let that happen, but there are scenarios where it happened. Then it's like, what are the documentation needed lah, in that sense, so we can work on that part lah,
Yep.
with the owner. And I guess sometimes it's like when things change in terms of the business, can we play a role in their business? Okay, instead of being the bookkeeper or being the one keeping the past record, can we work with them to actually move forward? What are things that they want to do? Can we work on the cash flow part? Do they have sufficient cash flow, or how much cash flow they need if they want to work this project, and kind of thing. So we would really like to work with the business owner on this part, because it is something which I think we do have the expertise, since we have been advising quite a number of business owners in the startups and things like that. So it does add value to their business, I guess. And we feel that since we have the expertise, it'd be nice if we can help them to build their business together.
Yep. So as I think one thing, if any accountants are watching also, it's like it is also our responsibility to kind of get people to adapt to moving online and all of that, because we can always settle for like, oh, we have a desktop software, why not just use it and all of that, which is what a lot of people do tend to think. But one thing I think I personally have learned from this pandemic is that if you're going to just wait for things to get back to normal, it will never. I don't think
Yes,
it will.
I
So
doubt you'll get back to normal.
yeah, so a person who is looking at adapting and growing and getting other people to adapt and teaching them how to do it is going to grow so much more during this period, compared to somebody who says let's wait, they'll forever wait. So as an accountant, we can guide the business owners to do this as well. And for business owners, it is okay to move online. It is where it is going. There's always people are going to improve it. Like last time, online banking was an absolute no, but now everyone does online banking. So
You actually have no choice. We had
yes,
a customer who has been collecting cash. They run a tuition center, so they collect cash. So you don't see any bank
yeah,
transfer. Very nominal bank transfer. But when come pandemic time, the COVID time, then you see all the bank transaction going in, online transaction, things like that, because you cannot wait for them to come and pay you.
it's okay. No need to pay. I'll collect when I meet you. Wow,
Then you'll be 1 year, right? I think more than a year after that.
so
So,
that is
yeah.
about moving online. I have one last question, which is
Mm.
this is still there. There's still some dependencies in terms of like, oh, okay, we're just moving online, but the accountant is still doing the accounts and all of that. But there is the whole when AI fully takes over, there won't be any role for accountants and all of that. What do you think about that particular thing? Do you think businesses will still need accountants when AI and all takes over fully?
Okay, I think it depends on what services or what they expect from an accountant.
Okay.
If they expect the accountant to be a bookkeeper, keeping track of all the documentation or a transaction, then AI can do the work. Okay, but if you expect people to AI to think for you, okay, if let's say this is my cash flow, what can I do? What are the relevant thing? To a certain extent, I probably AI can tell you. They will tell you generally reduce expenses, increase your income. That is a standard answer. But
Yeah.
how do you go about it? How do you monitor? How do you actually? It's like for us, a lot of times when we talk to business owners, for them to actually grow is not only the product or the service. Is sometimes is they themselves need to change in order for them to grow. So we may not be the best person to do this, but we can be the person to point out to you like, okay, maybe you want to look into that area so that your business can grow.
Yep.
We are not expert in everything. Okay, we are only expert in certain areas, but we can point you or we can highlight to the business owner that, hey, look, there's something not quite right in this area. Okay, what we know is that some people have utilized this solution to overcome this. Maybe you want to try, maybe you want to look for other solutions and things like that. Okay,
Yep.
so in terms of that, for me personally, my take is that AI can do all the mundane work, which I think all accountants will be willingly give
Happy.
up that part,
Happy to.
happily give up that part. And so, as an accountant, we will need to upgrade ourselves in the sense
Yes.
that what value we can bring to the business that will enable us to actually work together with business for them to grow together, for us to grow together, lah, I guess. So that's my take on that. But
Agreed,
okay.
agreed. I think a lot of us, it's not going to be complete replacement, but you will only add value if you appeal to the human part of people. If it's just the
Yes.
numbers, you will definitely lose your job. I think that's what we have
Yep.
seen across centuries.
Yep.
Anything that is too technical and all of that will eventually get replaced by a machine. But if you appeal to the human mind and you kind of like help people handle their emotions, which we face a lot with business owners that we work with,
Yes.
you're naturally going to have a job because there's always
Yeah.
going to be a problem in terms of emotions. So yeah. Any last messages that you would like to leave our audiences with? It could be business owners or the accountants as well.
I think it's more on that. Although you may not be involved in the day to day of the accounting part, as a business owner, I feel that you should also be concerned. Meaning that if the accountant don't come back to you, do look for your accountant.
Mm.
Okay, because it is your business, so it is only fair that you put time into it,
Yep.
to look into the business and things like that. And I frankly, for me, is like sometimes I also notice certain issues when I do my own accounts. Okay, so the issue is that sometimes you tend to forget, the accountability is not there,
Yeah.
because you don't need to answer to someone when things are not so right. It's okay because nobody's checking on your work and things like that, you see. So when you have someone that you are accountable to, meaning that someone you need to report to, or someone that is keep asking you, can you help me review my accounts, especially in the team, it's like it really helps me in that sense, when I'm doing my
Yep.
business. So
Yep.
it actually goes both ways. As the business owner, you need to also be aware of what's happening. Don't just say, okay, my accountant is handling it, and that's it, because it is your business. Something is happening there. Okay, I still get clients asking me, so what is my business bank account? Huh? What is my, what you call it, business registration number? And things like that. When, of course, we have already given to them, right? But they
Yeah.
still come back and ask, So for me, sometimes it's just like, don't you think you should take note of all these things that's in your business? At least, you don't need to come back, because it is something that it is your business. Some information I feel that you should already know. No? So on that part of it. And then, so the other part, I guess, is more on that accountability. so that when you're accountable to someone, you make sure that you are constantly making sure your things are on track, or up to par, up to mark, and things like that. Because at one point of time, I wasn't updating my accounts because it's like, it's okay lah, I know what's happening, right? Why should I update my accounts? Then I realized that I'm not looking into this. Was like years back lah. I don't really know what's happening in my business at all. You
Yep.
see, so I made it a point to, the first accounts that I update is my accounts, my company accounts, or I make sure my company accounts are up to date
Yeah.
now, so that I know what's happening in my business. Where is it? Where is the things that I need to look at? Is there some issues here? What are the things that I can make it more efficient and things like that? So the numbers, like I said, the numbers actually shows lah. Whether your business is growing, whether your expenses is too much, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. That's it.
All right. So that is it from us on this topic of accounting. What role does it play in our businesses? What can we do as a business owner or the accountant as well? So one of the things we do in Simply Empowering is actually assist both categories. So as much as we do have clients who pass on their business accounts to us and we handle their accounting for them, we also would work with a lot of accountants themselves to upskill themselves so that they can not only remain at the very basic level of bookkeeping, but they can move on to do full set of accounts and eventually also do higher level work as an accountant as well. So how we do this is through our program called Get Real with Accounts, where we have a couple of levels. So the first level is actually beginner, where we talk about preparing a full set of accounts. I think a lot of accounting graduates who have studied, you went on to a job and you're doing your job, and then you realize, oh, I don't actually have the skills to do a full set of accounts, and therefore I can't get my promotion, therefore I can't do a freelance job, and you are limited in a way because you don't have that skill of doing a full set of accounts. So what we aim to do is kind of pass on that skill so that you can also do this. I know it looks very contradictory for some outsource accountant to teach other people how to do outsource accounting, but we feel like this is the way a lot of businesses are going forward,
Yep.
outside accounting and all of that. So there's a lot of opportunity and we can learn from each other. So if you are somebody who's looking at preparing full set of accounts, please do contact us to find out more how you can join this program. We also have another level called intermediate level, where it's no longer about just putting the data into a software and producing your reports and all of that, and it's looking at things like costing, budgeting, planning, forecast for the business. It's a lot more exciting in a way for me. The data entry is kind of boring, but when you start
Uh,
planning and strategizing for the business, things get a lot more exciting. So if you're
yep.
somebody who knows your basic but you would like to really go to the next level, you can also join for our intermediate class as well. So we call this program Get Real with Accounts, and if you're interested, you can actually contact Vishnu Priya. Her number is on screen, so please do feel free to contact her and join us for future programs as well. So this is something we are doing to impact people and get more people to be more skilled at this job and give back to community as well. So thank you so much, guys, for joining today's session. If you are watching, do drop a like so that we know you guys watched. And if you have any particular takeaways, do drop it in the comments as well, to share this link out to more people as well. I think you never know who would need it. So just you putting it in your profile would help us reach out to people who do actually need this. So once again, thank you so much, and see you guys next week on our next Money Matters episode.
Yep.
Bye,
See
guys.
you guys. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching, and please do like and subscribe so that you never miss an episode. Do share this episode with your friends and family. And if you like this episode, leave us a review on our Facebook page, facebook.com/simplyempowering. Money Matters is where we aim to provide valuable content to inspire and empower you on your money matters. Thank you once again for watching this episode, and see you guys at the next one.